أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. Amma ba'd, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars live on Hidayat TV. I'm your host Hassan Shah, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of parts of the Furu'a Deen in a little bit more detail, talking about the philosophy behind them and behind those words and how we also can implement it into our lives as well. So just before we get onto the show, I'd like to introduce our guests.
Assalamu alaikum, my name's Misbah.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsin.
Thank you for introducing yourselves. And so it's been this week. There's only been, when I've been looking, because normally the first thing that we start the episode in is talking about some stuff that might have happened this week or anything like that in the historical context. Yeah, and actually in this week, in the dates of this week, one event has took place. Yeah, that was shahadat of Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam. Yeah, so in this week, and also another thing, Eid al-Zara as well. Do any of you know anything about what is how do these two things link? Because it's when who's the Imam of our time?
Imam Mahdi.
Imam Mahdi. Yeah, it's when he was now he was appointed as the Imam. Yeah, so he was now that it was his time now to be the Imam. Yeah, from that point onwards. So let's get onto the topic. And also, we could say one other thing is that when Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam first when he first actually smiled after the long period, at which the struggles on the Ahlul Bayt. This is the after that period, the first time he actually smiled. So I said at the beginning one point, but it ended up being a couple of other points as well that happened in this week as well. But now getting back onto the topic, Furu'a Deen. This is something that we've covered a lot about. What are the Furu'a Deen, just to start off with?
It's the branches of Islam.
These are the things that Usul Deen usually in Usul Deen you don't take what's the word that you could say for it, that you don't take kind of guidance. I'm trying to look for the word, but in Furu'a Deen, in Furu'a Deen, these are the principles that you take taqleed on. These are the guidelines that Usul Deen is that roots, and they're your principles of faith. These are the things that once you, these are the minimum things in to be a good Muslim, a Shia, to be a Muslim. So these Usul Deen are these things that which we don't really, which you should not be seeking explanation on them, not too much explanation on them. So these things are just in ourselves that we should know. And then Furu'a Deen, these are the things that we need, these are the actions So the Asul Din, I think I can explain a bit like this, that the Asul Din are the things that are inside us that we believe, yeah, and what? The other? Asul Din is the things that are inside you that you believe, yeah, and Furu Din is what?
The way you show that.
Yeah, and these things that these are the things that we take taqleed on, yeah. So, can we mention all of the Furu Din?
Namaz, Roza, Hajj, Zakat, Khums, Jihad, Amr bil Maruf, Nahi anil Munkar, Tawalla Tabarra.
Yeah, that's right. So it's Namaz, Roza, Hajj, Zakat, Khums, Jihad, Amr bil Maruf, Nahi anil Munkar, Tawalla and Tabarra. So a few, if we could get onto more, we're going to talk about more as well, more of these Fru'adins. But the main ones that we're going to be talking about today is Jihad, Amr bil Maruf and Nahi anil Munkar. So first, Jihad, what is the basic meaning of Jihad?
A struggle in the way of Allah.
Yeah, struggling in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Amr bil Maruf?
To guide others to good.
Enjoining good, guiding others towards doing good. What is Nahi anil Munkar? Nahi anil Munkar?
To stay away from evil.
Yeah, to guide people away from doing, so forbidding evil, guide people away from doing any evil actions. So we're going to get into more detail about these concepts, yeah, given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, explained to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we're going to be talking about the philosophy behind them. Yeah, so this is something that not a lot of people would have gone in depth to, yeah, but something that we should really, because these are interesting parts of our faith. So Miss, you've got the first thing, so we can start. Miss Wafdullah salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. The philosophy of the Furudi, known as Jihad. Allah says in the Holy Quran, O Prophet, encourage the believers to go for Jihad. If there are 20 patient ones amongst you, you will overcome 200. Jihad means fighting in the path of Allah. If the Prophet ﷺ or the Imam ﷺ of the time asks you to do so. This is actually a social jihad, which sometimes involves fighting a war against an unjust ruler, and is known as al-jihad al-asghar, the minor jihad. The word jihad actually means to work hard or to strive for something. So it's fighting a holy war, the only way you can strive for something in the path of Allah. No, it is not. This is where the term al-jihad al-akbar, the major or greater jihad, comes in. The greater jihad is a spirit of non-compromise with injustice. It is a struggle to defend and rescue Iman, Deen and Aqidah. You do not need anyone's permission for this jihad. It is an ongoing jihad from the day you mature to the day you die. In fact, the smaller jihad is never complete without this greater jihad. The fighters of the Jihad al-Akbar are people like you and me. The spiritual jihad is fought in the hearts and minds of every Muslim. It is a struggle between two opposite forces, the soul and mind versus the desires. In this struggle between your soul and mind and your desires, it is your soul that must win. If your desires win and control your life, then you have lost this spiritual struggle in the way of Allah, and you have to start fighting your desires again. According to Imam Musa Qadim alayhi salam, a person who is a slave of his desires is one who is free of Allah. In response to his companion Hisham's question as to which one is more wajib, Imam Musa Qadim alayhi salam said, the one closer to you is more wajib. Our greatest models of Jihad al-Akbar, also known as Jihad bin Nafs, are our Imams. When we talk about Imam Ali's alayhi salam bravery and heroism, we must realize that his courage and bravery reaches its optimum not only when he raises the gates of Khaybar, but also when he completely takes over Nafs and his control of his Nafs allows him to let go of Amr bin Abdulwad, who spits at him. Therefore, a struggle against your desires and evil and injustice inside you is as compulsory as a struggle against your enemy.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Misbah. So Misbah went over quite a lot of information over there. So if we start from the beginning of what she was mentioning, what was she mentioning?
she was talking about that, like how we, like she can, she's so like talking about jihad and.
Yeah. So if we go to Mohsin, if you go back to the start there,
Yeah.
and go to the ayat that she mentioned. So she read a verse of the Holy Quran.
Yeah.
Mohsin, if you could go ahead and read that again.
Allah says in the Holy Quran, O Prophet, encourage the believers to go for jihad. If there are 20 patients among you, you will overcome 200.
Thank you, Mohsin. So Misbah starts off by showing jihad through this verse of the Holy Quran, where it says, where it's telling the people, encouraging them to do jihad, and saying that if there is 20 patient ones amongst you, you can overcome how many? 200. Yeah. How do you, what do you understand from that?
So is it like if you overcome something, like let's say if you overcome one struggle, then it's like worth more.
Okay.
That in like the strength in numbers, how a small amount of numbers they can overcome a lot of the jihad, like they can do jihad and overcome a lot of the problems.
Okay, so these are two really different but really important interpretations as well that you made there. So Mohsin, yours was what? I can't remember.
So if you overcome one thing, then it's like you gain more.
Yeah. So by overcoming something through jihad, through, that what it means. Jihad is to overcome something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by overcoming something, you've completed a major task, a really important task, and that's worth a lot in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. And also what Misbah said, what did you say, Misbah?
Like the strength in numbers, how a small amount of people, if they focus hard on their jihad, they can overcome it and many more problems, and it can become into a big number.
Misbah said, as a collective group, even though they're small in numbers, yeah, if they struggle, if they do jihad, yeah, that they will be will be able to overcome many tasks. Okay, so another good way of interpreting that verse. So what we know from that is that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encouraged, yeah, the people to do jihad. Yeah?
Yeah.
And he mentions if there are 20 patient ones among you, that you can overcome 200. Yeah? So if we take this and we learn about this philosophy of jihad, yeah, and being patient, yeah, and overcoming and struggling, yeah, then we can fight against our evils, whether they be in our hearts or on the earth. Yeah. So so it's a really important concept. What did she go on to talk about? What did you go on to talk about?
How there are two types of jihad. One that is fighting for Allah, which you will have to sort of like permission by from the Prophet or the Imam at that time, and jihad al-akbar, which is the greater jihad, that you don't need any like Prophet or Imam's permission to do so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Misbah there also talked about two types of jihad. Jihad, the asghar meaning what?
The
Small, and akbar meaning
the
great, the greater jihad. Yeah. So the smaller jihad is what? Is where you need to get where permission is needed to be given by either the Holy Prophet, the representative of Allah of that time, whether that be the Holy Prophet or the Imams. So this involves what? This is physical, isn't it?
And
yeah.
The other one is just your soul, your mind.
So this physical one, what will it entail? What will it entail?
Like fighting for Allah.
Yeah, fighting in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with permission. Yeah, what are they fighting against?
Fighting against evil.
Yeah, evil, unjust people. Yeah, and that's when jihad is to be used, and with only whether because obviously there are no prophets now in our time, that who is the only one that can give this order of this offensive?
Yeah.
Yeah, Imam Mahdi. Yeah, so the Imam of our time, these are this is the only person that is able to give us the permission to do this jihad al-Asghar. Yeah, and there's another jihad as well. So these concepts were explained by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he's explained that in one hadith that he said this was after they did this smaller jihad, talking about that they've now done the smaller jihad. It's now time to do the greater jihad, which is the struggle within yourself. Yeah, and so the greater jihad al-Akbar. Yeah, and that is what is that?
It's your desires, and so you
Your
have
soul
to
and
overcome,
mind and your desires.
your desires. So
So this is a fight within
yourself.
a fight within yourself. Yeah, and what to do, what is it explained? How did Misbah explain it?
So if you have like if every human wants money, so that can also like lead on to greed and all this other thing, but that's also a desire. So if you get over the desire, then
Yeah, so she explained it being a fight against what?
Your soul and mind.
and your mind. Yeah, and your desires. Yeah, desires is a really big thing which need to be controlled. Yeah, so mostly said greed is a very big desire. Yeah, and this is what a jihad is, to overcome that greed. Yeah, that's within yourself. Yeah, so this is the philosophy behind jihad. And most you've got more things, so can start most off with Allah salawat. Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Islam does not say that you must not fulfill your desires. Many human desires are lawful, but Islam does not want you to. But Islam wants you to be careful how you fulfill your desires, lawfully and unlawfully. For example, earning money is a lawful human desire. Islam does not forbid this desire. However, it wants you to be careful in how you fulfill the desire. If you pay attention to certain details such as money earned in a halal way, did you cheat someone to earn the money? Were you fair, or is the money tahir? In conclusion, jihad is not justified. It is actually a struggle to maintain your self-control. It is when you strive to do something when wrong may be staring you in the face and tempting you. As such, jihad enables a person to be ethical, fair and self-controlled. It is therefore the struggle to be a good Muslim.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Thank you, Mohsin. So Mohsin there gave a really good explanation. So before he talked about greed and that greed, and then he explained more detail in what he just said. Yeah, so this is the thinking behind whether we are fulfilling what desires we have in a halal way or a haram way. Yeah, so Mohsin gave a good example that earning money. Yeah, it is a desire for me, for example, to earn money. So I go out and go work on a shop till. Yeah, and just to earn that money. Yeah, because that's my desire, to earn money. And when I'm working, yeah, when I'm asking for money, what do I ask for? when I'm working on this till, I ask for a little bit more because my desire is to earn as much money as I can. Yeah, that's my desire. So what cheated that person out of maybe an extra pound, up to £10, whatever money that I've took from them. Yeah? Is this a halal way of fulfilling your desire or a haram way of fulfilling your desire?
Haram way.
Why would that be considered a unlawful way of fulfilling that?
Because it depends how you got it. So if you got it by cheating, then that's not the right way. You should be fair and just.
Yeah. So you've just cheated someone off extra money, yeah, which you have no right over. Yeah. So this is whether you see a person that you could cheat that money off, and you have, I could get extra £10 on this sale, on this deal, yeah, that I'm fulfilling, that I'm doing now, yeah. I could cheat this man off an extra £10, yeah. But what do? You have this self-control.
Yeah.
You stop yourself from doing it.
You stop yourself from doing it. Yeah. So this is an example of a really like on a surface level about jihad. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's many other things that you can go into as well. Yeah. But this is a good example for us to understand. Yeah, in a bit more detail. So, Miss, you've got the next thing. So, we can start, Miss, with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Let there arise out of you a nation who will invite to goodness and enjoin what is right and forbid what is evil. It is the seventh pillar of Islam and it means enjoining the good. If a person does not fulfill the obligations laid down by Allah, it is obligatory on us to guide him to the right path, provided we have some hope that he will follow the guidance we give him. This is a very important branch of Islam. Everything that has been ordered by Allah has been called maruf, i.e. good. For example, salah, fasting, khums, zakat, and establishment of the fundamentals of Islam. Examples of these also include those things that have been recommended by Islam, like feeding and welcoming guests, teaching about Islam, good akhlaq, and having a pleasant character. It is wajib to enjoin a person to do good the first time and sunnah the second time. Amr bin Maruf becomes wajib under 4 conditions. You know what is right and what is wrong. You have some hope that the advice will be followed. The person whom you want to advise insists on doing wrong. You are satisfied by doing Amr bin Maruf and Nahi anil Munkar. No personal or financial suffering will be caused to that person. However, when the basic faith of the Muslims is in danger or a belief of Islam is being undermined, for example, when a country tries to change its people's beliefs or encourages drinking and gambling, then it is wajib upon us to enjoin good and advise against what is forbidden, even though by doing so the leaders of the country may come to harm. Amr bin Maruf and Nahi anil Munkar are wajib kifaya. If one person does it, it is not wajib on the others. If no one does it, are all equally accountable regardless of their financial or social status. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Thank you, Miss Beth. So she went through Amr bin Maruf there. What was some of the things that you talked about there, Miss Beth?
How Amr bin Maruf is one of the main and important parts of Fruddin, and how it involves like enjoining people to good. So like, for example, if a country was encouraging things that are haram, to forbid that and encourage people not to do that, even though the country, the people who lead the country might come to harm.
Yeah. So it is a really important thing, yeah, because when we see someone doing this a thing, yeah, or they could be doing this thing, or they're doing the wrong thing as well, yeah, explaining to them and telling them is what that something that we have to do. Yeah, we have to tell them, oh no, you're doing this, shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, this thing is haram, we shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, and when Misbah talk about a country which what maybe encourages of doing haram stuff, yeah, haram actions, yeah. One thing that we could say in this country that there is a big problem is with what could we say?
But their way of encouraging people to do the haram things.
Yeah, what might this haram thing specifically be? What do you think?
Drinking alcohol.
Yeah. The government actually do get money from people actually drinking with some kind of a tax or whatever. Yeah, and they do, and it's beneficial for them when people buy it. Yeah. So it's not people are not really strongly told, even though that we do learn in schools that they are bad for us. Yeah. So in a society where these things are acceptable, yeah, and then that's where Nahy Anil Munkar comes in. Yeah, that we need to explain to the people that no, this is not a good thing. Yeah, and you've got more things about Nahy Anil Munkar. So can we start most off with loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ways of doing Amr bil Ma'ruf. 1. By tongue, by taking to the person and persuading him politely. 2. By conduct, if talking produces no result, a gradual withdrawal of friendship and companionship should be resorted to. The next stage should be to report the matter to your mujtahid or his wakil, who is authorized to decide matters concerning fiqh. Nahy Anil Munkar. You are the best community that has been raised up for mankind. You enjoin what is right and forbid what is evil, and you believe in Allah. It is the 8th pillar of Islam. It means to forbid those that are haram. We should ask any man who doing those things which have been prohibited by Allah to refrain from doing them, provided of course that we have some hope that they will use that advice. Munkar means everything has been forbidden in Islam, such as drinking, gambling, listening to music, eating pork, etc. Like Amr bil Ma'ruf, it is wajib to practice Nahy Anil Munkar the first time and the Sunnah the second time. There are 4 stages of discouraging those that are forbidden in Islam. 1. By a mental attitude. 2. By facial expression of disgust at the deeds of one who does what is forbidden. 3. By words of advice and warning or by angry words. 4. By use of physical force to stop the evil deed, provided no harm comes to him physically, he should not get hurt. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Mohsin. So, Mohsin there talked a little bit more about Nahy Anil Munkar. Mohsin, what did you start off there by talking about?
So I started off by talking Amr bil Ma'ruf.
Ways of doing it.
Ways. You started off with Amr bil Ma'ruf, yeah. And what did you explain? Ways
of doing it.
Yeah. So ways of doing it. What were some of your examples? By
tongue.
By tongue. By
what's it?
By how you
conduct yourself.
Yeah, how you conduct, how you act. And what was another one?
To report the issue.
Yeah, to report the issue. So these are some things of where you would do. Yeah, by tongue you would explain to that person. Obviously, by conduct, the way you act would show how. If you have a good conduct and the way you act, yeah, what will that help people understand that this is where you're setting a good example, aren't you? Yeah. So that's another important way. And then you went on to talk about nahi anil munkar.
munkar.
Yeah, and this there was another ways of what's it called? Doing nahi anil munkar as well. Yeah, and just and explain that you two that you two did explain as well is that the first time that you see something and then you're like, yeah, here I could do nahi anil munkar, here I could do amr bil ma'ruf. Yeah, so when you do that the first time, what it's you have to.
Wajib to
Yeah,
do so.
so you have to step up and do it. Yeah, and then the second time, so say the person, he's not listened. Yeah, then the second time, yeah, is what? Sunnah. Yeah. And then what did you say were the ways of the? You explained some ways.
By your mental attitude,
Yeah, by your attitude.
by your facial expression, and words of advice.
Yeah, your facial expressions. Yeah, that could explain a lot of how you see someone doing anything, they look at you and they see your facial expression. Yeah, this is one way obviously of doing it. Yeah, another way of
Physical force.
before that you explained of words. Yeah, you explained word, so you take them. Yeah, you take them, you see them doing something, you take them, but with anyone else. Yeah, because it's a really, really bad thing. Yeah, if you see someone, he's done this, I'll go tell everyone else, and then we'll talk to him. No, you've seen him, you know that is a wrong thing. Yeah, so you yourself would go to him and explain, shouldn't be doing this, it's not a good thing, and you give whatever advice you would like to give. Yeah, helpful advice. And the other one was by what? Physical force. Yeah, which we obviously at our age will most definitely not need to do. Yeah, but that would be when someone is actually at a point where they want to obviously harm other people as well. Yeah, and you need to stop this, and you need to explain how this is wrong. Yeah, and then even when that
doesn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't work, then you would have to what?
Use
physical force. But us definitely at our age, yeah, we don't really we don't need to do that. So, Misbah, have you got another thing that you'd like to show us? Alright, so Misbah's got the next thing, so we start Misbah off with loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
What about the limitations of enjoining the good and forbidding the evil? We are told we should help other Muslims by reminding them when they have done something wrong and encourage them to do good. But how should one deal with Muslims who respond angrily and get defensive and ask not to interfere in their lives? Should we then stop in order to keep peace in the relationship, or should we continue to enjoin and forbid as issues come up? Some examples of these issues might be reminding a Muslim of her duty to wear hijab, reminding a friend who is about to cheat someone in a business deal that it is un-Islamic. Answer: Islam safeguards an individual's right to privacy in the strongest possible terms. In Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah 12, Allah says, "O you who believe, avoid much suspicion, for indeed suspicion in some cases is a sin, and spy not." Amar bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar may involve interfering in someone's private life. In Islam, if you do not interfere as a result another individual or a group of people's lives suffers, then the rights of others take a priority over that person's private life. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, to prevent a Muslim from doing an unlawful action is equivalent with Allah to the performance of 70 accepted Hajj. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam said, he who abandons forbidding what is wrong theoretically and practically and is indifferent while seeing vices committed, it is a moving corpse amongst the living. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, the world is like a ship and mankind its passengers. The welfare of all depends upon the conduct of each. If anyone is found making a hole on the side of the ship, he must be stopped. Those people who practice Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar are amongst those who occupy an esteemed position in the sight of Allah, who groups them amongst His triumphant servants. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Misbah. So Misbah there went on with a few other things as well, yeah, which are talking about what are the limitations, yeah, which is a question that might come up. What point do I stop? What point, if he says this, do I continue? What happens? Misbah came up with a question explaining that, if you remind someone of what they've done wrong and try to encourage them to do good, but how would you deal when a Muslim that responds when a Muslim responds angrily to this and get defensive and ask and tell us not to interfere in their actions and their life? What should they then explain here? What then to do to keep peace in the relationship, or they should continue to enjoying good and forbid evil? Yeah, and Mr. gave some of the examples of reminding of a person about the duty of the hijab. Yeah, reminding a friend who's about to cheat someone in a business deal. Yeah, so these are some issues that Misbah talked about earlier as well. Yeah, and the answer that Misbah said there was a really informed answer, really important answer as well that we need to remember. Yeah, and she brought up a ayat of the Holy Quran saying, "Oh, you who believe, avoid suspicion. Yeah, for indeed suspicion is a sin in some cases, and spy not." Yeah, so this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Yeah, so when you've done your responsibility, yeah, you've seen someone do wrong, you've done your responsibility, yeah, and they're not obviously in the public eye, they're not showing it to anyone else, they're not encouraging anyone else to do it, yeah, and they're not encouraging anyone else to do it, yeah, they're doing it by themselves and they're not listening to you. So what are you supposed to do? You've done your duty.
You're supposed to at least try something else. So
Yeah, no, you've done your thing now, and you've tried and you've done it. Yeah, that's your job done. Now it's on that person, yeah, to do what they want, what they are gonna choose to do.
Like, it's not your fault if they still don't choose to do it. You did what you did, so now it's their choice to make whether they are going to follow
and
that.
implemented that, talking about okay, now they've done it, yeah, but you cannot try now to spy on them to see if they're continuing doing that action. You can't not keep having this suspicion in your head. Yeah, you just know that they've done it. You don't tell anyone. You've advised them. They've said what they've said. You've said what you said. You've done your duty. Yeah, and if they're adamant, yeah, then you leave them to go about their way. Yeah, because you've done as much as you can, and it's very different with different people. When they're your family members, yeah, there's a more of a stronger connection, and more you're able, even though they've told you to leave it, that you can talk to them at a more of a deeper level than you would with another person. Yeah. So it's obviously different with different people, but you need to keep that in mind, where you don't tell anyone. You're the only person that saw it. Yeah, it's between you and that person now. Yeah, you shouldn't be telling anyone else. Yeah, and she also then went to go and mention about some hadiths from the Holy Prophet and Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, yeah, which are really important. Yeah, and telling us, and a really big one is from where what Imam Ali said, is that whoever abandons forbidding good and enjoining forbidding evil and enjoining good, yeah, whoever abandons that is like a moving corpse amongst the living people, yeah. So he's comparing you to something that's dead, that's died, yeah. So that's a really thing that's resonated with me, yeah. Hope you lot have learned a lot from today's show, yeah. Hope people as well have learned a lot about the duties and the important details behind jihad, amr bil maroof and nahy anil munkar. So thank you for joining me on today's show. Thank you at home for joining me on today's show, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.